What is up, guys? Welcome back to another one of our Kentucky Derby updates. A lot to go over, a lot to go through today here as we look at what happened last week with three great Kentucky Derby prep races. We'll kind of look at some other horses that may have stood out. We'll also go over new top fives for myself and John White, and then we'll preview because we don't know the fields yet, but we'll kind of talk about the Derby prep coming up this weekend, the Sam F. Davis. I'm going to put these charts up on the screen first. We're going to start right here with the Robert B. Lewis Stakes from Santa Anita. It was race 4 on Saturday, a grade 3 event here going 1 mile at Santa Anita. It was a short field of 5, 3 Bob Bafferts. They run 1, 2, 3. I will say anytime you get a field like this, it's very hard to kind of dissect still. Are these horses good? Are they just the best Bafferts? Was the setup just right for Citizen Bull and nobody else? All the stuff comes to mind, but I'm going to try to just break it down the best I can. Just watching horses for almost 20 years now and trying to dissect them as we go. I'll just do the best I can. Citizen Bull, we'll start with him. Easy winner of this race. I know for sure, without any doubt, the number one kind of thing that people are going to say negative about Citizen Bull is, hey, it's a field of 5, 2 other stablemates in here. They let Citizen Bull win the race. He got out in front and just cruised to the front and never looked back. All true. What did we find out really about Citizen Bull? I think we found out he's just as sharp as he was at finishing up his 2-year-old season. Yes, he got to the front. Yes, he took him gate to wire. He still has to go out there and do that, though, is what I will say. So he kind of bobbled at the start just a bit. Nothing bad, but just a little bobble. But he knew what to do. He went straight to the lead. Hey, if you want to say Rodriguez, Matticat Road, they let him get the lead. You can say that. That's fine. But I liked how he did it. He got right to the front. Rodriguez kind of ran a strange race where it looks like he was going to fade out of it. Then he re-rallied. He switched to the outside after being on the inside, all the stuff. So it was kind of awkward and weird to watch him run, but he could make pretty much no move on Citizen Bull whatsoever. It was pretty much Citizen Bull, just kind of had it his own way. A mild rally by Rodriguez, and Citizen Bull kind of tossed him aside. Again, it's hard to really decipher just how good this was. It was solid. It was, if you're a Citizen Bull fan, if you've got him in a future wager, if you're play fantasy horse racing like I do and have him on your team, it's exactly what you wanted to see for future handicapping and how does this project going forward. It's a guess still. I think good. He got a 98 buyer for this effort, and first race as a 3-year-old was better than anything he had earned was assigned as a 2-year-old. So all good stuff, and like I said, it's another race where he goes gate to wire with an easy lead and wins. I get it if you're not over the moon about it. But for those of us that liked him going in, we gotta like him going out. Rodriguez, like I said, weird trip. I thought he would be the one that had the lead. He was not. So you kind of knew up the backstretch if you supported Rodriguez, you're screwed because it's Citizen Bull that got that lead. He was green as hell. He was on the inside. He dropped way out of it. Well, not way out of it, but further out of it than I thought he would be at any point in the race. Kind of thought, shit, he's done. They're going to pull him up. And he re-rallied. He had a pretty nice rally. I think he's still kind of learning. I wouldn't close the door on Rodriguez at all. I think he's okay. I'm not overly down on him after this race. I thought he would win the race, to be honest with you, because I thought he would get Citizen Bull's trip. He didn't. But he still ran okay. Talk about Matticat Road for a minute. I think he's the ultimate he is who he is type. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's awful either. I just think he kind of is this horse that's going to kind of sit mid-pack, make a run. And if he's in against horses that aren't all that good, I think he'll win. I think he's honest. I think he's ran kind of the same race 3 times now. So he might be the, one of the more, where Rodriguez is kind of all over the place. Matticat Road is kind of one of those more of, okay, I know what he's going to do. Now I can handicap the rest of these horses. If they're just average or maybe just decent horses, I think Matticat Road can win. If they're really good, he may not be able to win. I think that's kind of where he's at after 3 races. You don't ever want to put like a definite definition on these after only 3 races, but you do look at it and go, well, he has been consistent. So anyway, I think he'll go to another prep. He might be able to make the Kentucky Derby. We'll see. But I don't know what kind of a win contender he is unless he shows more. Not going to go over Clock Tower and Valentine's Candy. They were what they were. Let's just keep it at that. All right, let's go to the Withers. One, I was pleasantly surprised with the Withers. Look, I'm probably going to get destroyed for this comment because everybody just kind of saw the Withers going in and, it's a shitty race and just dismiss it going out of it and whatever. I would be careful to do that. I thought it was a bad race going in as well, but I don't know how you can poke a whole lot of holes in what Captain Cook did in this race. Now, can he do it again? Can he do it against tougher horses? All fair and all valid, but will you just take this for what it was? This was really, really good. He ran the mile 2 seconds, he ran the mile in an eighth, 2 seconds faster than the other mile in an eighth race on the card. Now, it was a claiming race, so he should have been faster, but 2 seconds is pretty legitimate. And also, I love the way he did it. If you watch my preview, I picked Captain Cook, but I said, I think the way he wins this with the pedigree that's kind of iffy to go a mile and an eighth, get out in front, get ahead, and they can't really make up any ground because the field sucks and he'll be fine. He didn't do that. He actually sat in third. He set off the two pace setters, and then when they asked him to go, he went and tackled them. Now, the two pace setters sucked something fierce, talking about Mo Quality and Uncle Jim. They were awful in the race. So it's not like it was hard to catch these two. Most horses in the race did catch them. But I liked how he caught him. He passed him, no problem. He did get the challenge from Surfside Moon, who's not a great horse. I'm not going to say he's a great horse. Caught the challenge and then kicked away again. That was impressive. He was assigned a 94 Beyer speed figure. I think he kind of had to be, being that much faster than the other mile and eighth race on the day there at Aqueduct. So, look, I don't think Captain Cook is going to win the Kentucky Derby. But do I think he is actually a legitimate contender coming out of this? Yeah, I actually think he is a legitimate Kentucky Derby horse. Did I think I would say that about him even though I picked him before the race? No. Look, he ran well. I compare him to kind of what early voting did back in the day, hit show a little bit. I mean, I think he's kind of that type. Is he an absolute superstar? I don't think so, but is he pretty good? Yeah, I actually think he is pretty good. So I'll give Captain Cook a lot of credit there. Surfside Moon, I thought, ran a good race as well. He was the only other one in the race. Did not see it coming at all. He was the second longest shot on the board there, 33-1. You see on the screen. Look, he ran well. He kind of made the first move of the closers, and then Omaha made a really late move. I'm not really interested in either one of them going forward. Like I said, I'm not overly interested in Captain Cook to win a race like the Kentucky Derby. But I do come out of this going, I think he can win somewhere. I'll keep an eye on him. There might be a race with his name on it, at some point. So I would not just throw out the Withers winner this year. I think he's decent enough. Maybe he's not the Derby winner, but I do think he's a decent horse. All right, let's go to the last one, and let's go to the Holy Bull Stakes here, won by Burnham Square. Really kicking myself personally because I was between Burning Glory and Burnham Square as far as who to put on top in here, and I chose wrong. I hated the Ferocious in this race, and I can't really say I hated Tappan Street, but I just wanted to play against the shorter prices here with somebody. Burnham Square was definitely the right call. I know Jared on Blinkers Off had him. I know a couple of people in the comments had him as well. So congratulations to you guys. Look, the race kind of set up where it felt like a closer was going to win, and Burnham Square, he was last early, but he made a nice little middle move. That was a good ride by Edgar Zayas to kind of get in contention, kind of ease him up. And then he kind of saved a little ground and then got out and was able to get the job done. I thought this was a pretty darn good race from a horse that just keeps improving with every start for Ian Wilkes. I kind of view him like Captain Cook. I don't really think this is the Kentucky Derby winner, but I don't think he's bad, and I think he can win again somewhere down the road, whether it be another prep, or whether it be in a kind of a Ohio Derby or Iowa Derby, or even a race even later in the summer, like the Jim Dandy races like that. I think this horse can win. I was really impressed. Like I said, he just keeps getting better with each start. So I think he's a legitimate contender. I don't envision myself picking him to win on the first Saturday in May, but I did like what I saw from him. Tappan Street's another one I really liked as well. Just the second start of this horse's career. He made a huge move on the turn. He passed the front runners, just boom like that. Was passed very easily, though, by Burnham Square. That's the bad news. I think the good news is you can project that this horse might improve a little bit in his next start. I don't know that he's good enough to make the Derby, but I think he's got a shot. Again, just his second start. Let's see what he does in his third start. Maybe he can take another step forward, hit the board again, and maybe a 50-point race. And then I'm back here saying, hey, I think he's going to be in. So Tappan Street did okay. Burning Glory, he did get third here, but I was pretty disappointed with him. He made I guess you could call it a little bit of a rally. You kind of were watching Burnham Square and Burning Glory. They weren't moving as a tandem, but you could kind of see them both as they were moving, and you could tell Burnham Square was moving much, much better and smoother. But, Burning Glory gets third. I think he earned a shot to try it again. But, yeah, not really what you wanted to see. The big news coming out of it, I think Ferocious is fourth in this spot, and it was not good. There's really not much good you could say about Ferocious here. I think, and this happens every summer at Del Mar and Saratoga both, he's probably just a little bit overhyped after that maiden win. Everybody got excited, and I'm not going to sit here and say the maiden win wasn't good, because it was. It was a good race, but he's not really that type going forward. Might want to stretch him, or cut him back, I should say. Maybe that'll help. I don't really know, but just not great here. And Guns Loaded was last. He won the Mucho Macho Man. And I think anybody that watched the Mucho Macho Man that had a brain knew it was going to be tough stretching out for this horse. And then after that, he took some pressure in this race as well. And it was just like, yeah, he's not that type of horse. They did run 47 and change to the half, but it was kind of a pressured 47 and change. So whatever, both those horses, Kinetic Control and Guns Loaded, faded to last. I cut this horse back. I think 7 furlongs might be perfect for Guns Loaded, but we'll see what happens here. Don't blame him. You won the Mucho Macho Man. You got to try to go down the Derby trail, but to me, I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it going forward. All right, that's the 3 recaps there. Don't know if I mentioned, but Burnham Square assigned a 90 Beyer speed figure. So 98 for Citizen Bull, 94 for Captain Cook, and a 90 for Burnham Square. Wouldn't get up in arms about any of them as far as numbers go. It is what it is at this point. It's the first day in February, so don't get overly crazy about anything you really see. You're just looking for solid efforts. I thought the winners of all 3 of these races were pretty solid, to be honest. Okay, 2 more I want to mention. The Swale Stakes winner, he actually was Gates Wire for Todd Pletcher. He was assigned a 93 Beyer, so he gets a higher Beyer than the Holy Bull winner. It was a pretty fast race. They covered 7 furlongs in 122 and change. So let's look at Gate to Wire. Now, Pletcher is pretty light right now. He has Vassimo, a horse that has 2 wins that is going to jump on the Derby trail at some point. Could be at Tampa, could be at the Risen Star. We'll see. He now has Gate to Wire, who I think will jump onto the Kentucky Derby trail. He's by Munnings. That's not the greatest for 2 turns. Out of a Street Cry mare, that's not bad, obviously. So I think it's questionable, but I don't think it's impossible that this horse will be okay. His running style kind of tells me he might be okay going a little bit longer, maybe a mile and a 16th next out. I think he's going to be on the Derby trail just for Pletcher's lack of horses right now that are on the Derby trail. So Gate to Wire, I think, will jump on the trail. I thought he was pretty good. If he doesn't jump on the trail, at least we kind of know he's got a decent little sprinter here. Maybe the Pat Day Mile is a race this horse could kind of fit into. Keep an eye on a Gate to Wire. I thought he was pretty good. The other one who will definitely be in a Kentucky Derby prep race next time out is River Thames. He made it 2 for 2 with a nice allowance win on the card. It was, not the toughest allowance, I would say, but it wasn't awful either. And he did a good job. He kind of accelerated up the inside and just kind of put that field away. He's got some flash to him. There's no doubt about it with these 2 wins. Horse, another one that it really, from a pedigree standpoint, doesn't feel like he's going to do the greatest when he stretches out. He's by McLean's Music out of a Discreet Cat mare. He's another one. The pedigree feels a little Pat Day Mile-ish versus Kentucky Derby-ish, but stretch him out. Let's see what he does. I'm more than happy to sit here and say that these horses can outrun these pedigrees. They do it all the time. So, but again, what we are basing it on now, we've seen 2 turn race races out of him. And we just kind of got to say, I don't know, it's 50-50, So we'll see how it goes for River Thames, who will definitely be in a prep next time out. All right. That's the recap of what happened last week, and went long on the recap because not a lot to talk about as far as what's coming up this week. But let's get to the top fives now. I've got John White's updated top five. We'll get to him first. John has number 5, Burnham Square. So he did like Burnham Square enough to put him number 5, winner of the Holy Bull. East Avenue, number 4. We'll see him in the Risen Star coming up. Sovereignty, number 3. We're not sure yet on Sovereignty. He's kind of a couple workouts behind, but he's catching up. I wouldn't be concerned about it yet. Number 2, Citizen Bull. So John did not have Citizen Bull in the top 5 while we've been doing these videos. He puts him up to number 2, so he was impressed yesterday with that win in the Robert B. Lewis. And then Barnes at number 1 once again for John. So John kind of explained a little bit about Citizen Bull to me privately, and kind of why he hadn't really had him in the top 5 and things like that. So let's get to, I'll just kind of summarize what he said in a text message here. He does have Citizen Bull bet at 29-1 to win the Kentucky Derby. He actually put that bet in before the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And he said the good news is Citizen Bull did go on to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. The bad news is Citizen Bull won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And with 4 decades of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile being run, only 2 horses, Street Sense and Nyquist, have went on to win the Kentucky Derby. So that was kind of his thought of, maybe, putting words in his mouth. Now, he didn't say this, but, when a horse wins a juvenile, maybe they peak a little bit too early, and they get caught up with once they get to the Kentucky Derby. I always try to tell people with these 2-year-olds in that Breeders' Cup Juvenile race specifically, it's like a boy or a girl that's in like junior high, right? And when they get to the Derby, it's like they're high school seniors almost. And you think about the days when you were in school, that athlete that was really good in junior high, he or she may not be the best athlete when you get to high school, because the other kids may, he or she may have grown before the other kids, and then the other kids, do catch up with them. Now, the rebuttal of this is Street Sense, Nyquist, they both were able to win the Kentucky Derby. And sometimes that kid that is a great junior high player is also the best player in your high school when he gets to high school as well. So there's back and forth. I would say, well, you know what? I'm going to do my top 5, and then I'll kind of summarize why I do have Citizen Bull number 1 still. So let's go 1 through 5 for me. I will go number 5, Barnes. So John's number 1 is my number 5. We'll see Barnes. I think we'll see him in the Rebel. I don't know that for sure. Coming up in I think that's 2-3 weeks away. He's got to stretch out. That's why I don't have him. And he's kind of similar to why I didn't have Patch Adams number 5. If Barnes stretches out and is really impressive going 2 turns, okay, I'll rank him, but not until he does. That's just how I do it. John looks more towards projections. I looked more towards, hey, this is what they've done. I like the known quantities. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Same with John's strategy. Number 4, Journalism. He has stretched out to 2 turns, and he did it very nicely with a win in the Los Alamitos Futurity. Number 3, Sovereignty. Same thing. Stretched out to 2 turns for the first time. Was able to win the Street Sense there at Churchill Downs. Number 2 is East Avenue, and I'm super excited about East Avenue, so I'm ready for him to break my heart again. Here's the deal. East Avenue, again, and I've studied horses for almost 20 years now. Everything is perfect with this horse all the time. You analyze his works. It's like, oh, it's so good. You look at his races before the Breeders' Cup. You go, he's so good. He just does it the right way. The Breeders' Cup was a freaking disaster. Just awful, of epic proportions for him. Stumbles, never gets any kind of footing. His workouts look just super to me. He's going to be in the Risen Star as long as everything goes okay. I'm excited. We'll see what happens with East Avenue. And then Citizen Bull, number 1 for me for however many straight weeks. I think we started this the week after the Breeders' Cup, and it's now February 2nd, and Citizen Bull's been number 1 the whole time. Look, for me, it's like he's a known quantity. He looks really, really good. Never lost around 2 turns, matter of fact. He's a horse that Baffert said from the start, like when he was a 2 years, like he will get better as a 3-year-old. There's his 3-year-old race. Yeah, he got better, at least from a speed figure standpoint. I get the knocks. He's not the most flashy horse in the world. He does have things his own way in all of his wins. He just wins. He just wins. So I'll have him number one as he racks up his third win going 2 turns. That's enough for me. That's enough for me. Citizen Bull number one. Yeah. So the one last thing I'll say, John's comment, I completely understand about, hey, the Breeders' Cup juvenile winner usually doesn't win the Kentucky Derby. It doesn't happen very often. I don't know. It just feels like every year is really dependent on the horse and who has the horse, meaning what trainer has each horse, and just how it kind of unfolds and fits. It's just I've always tried to kind of compare. This year feels like this year, and in a years past, and I don't know. I just think every year is so different anymore. I remember when Justify broke the Curse of Apollo, and I thought we'll never see that again in our lifetime. That was incredible. And then Mage did it, and I just sat there that day and thought it's all BS. These old rules, like these rules are, and I know the rebuttal is, well, it's only happened twice in over 100 years, but it's like if Mage could do it, it certainly could have happened a lot with a lot of other horses that maybe just got unlucky for other reasons. I don't know. That just kind of ruined when Mage won the Derby. I just kind of sat back and went, I don't know about these rules and these things. And I just don't know anymore. It just made me question it all because it's like, if Mage cannot race as a 2-year-old and go win that race, I don't know. Is the Curse of Apollo really a thing anymore? I just think the way horses are trained now, the styles of the trainers, what they do, I just think every year you got to kind of treat it as its own thing. And look, I could be totally wrong. You're usually wrong in racing. At least 7 or 8 out of 10 times you're going to get it wrong, and I could get this wrong as well. But I not hold, hey, he won the best race as of the 2-year-old, and hey, he's the 2-year-old of the year. Well, I can't bet him I can't bet him to win the Kentucky Derby at 3. I don't know. What if he keeps just running really well? I think I can, So that's just kind of how I look at it. Again, I'm not disagreeing with John White's comments at all. Those are factual comments to base your decisions on. I can't argue with that. I'm just saying I've just kind of done looking at past. I just kind of look, here's what it is. Here's the situation right now. We'll go with it and we'll see what happens. So, all right. That is a wrap. No, it's not, because we have to talk real quick about the Sam F. Davis. We do not have the card out yet. Tampa, one of the few places that still draw their Saturday cards on Wednesday. So we don't have that out yet. The Sam F. Davis historically hasn't been the greatest prep, but each year to its own. Who knows? Or maybe a monster show up there. I think Poster is probably going to run in the Sam F. Davis, so we'll get the Rimson winner in the Sam F. Davis. We'll get the first look at him, and we'll see how that unfolds. Now, the good news is I can't say much about Sam Davis because I don't know anything about it yet. We'll have a full preview out of the Sam F. Davis. It'll draw Wednesday. Look for it either Thursday morning, maybe late Wednesday night. I'll get on it. I'll get that preview out to you guys. Last week, I waited for the morning line odds because they drew really early, and then they never released the odds. So I'm never waiting again. When I get the card and I get it handicapped, I'll get it out to you. I promise. All right, guys, that'll do it for this week's episode of the Kentucky Derby Update. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe. You really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, come back next week for another Kentucky Derby Update.